All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 272. And today, I want to do something kind of silly, and I need a drink. So let me hold please. Had to open a new thing of water. All right, so let's so I wanted to do something kind of silly today. Critical Role Campaign 4 premieres on Thursday. There's going to be a bunch of watch parties and stuff like that. They have a link on their website if you actually want to watch it live with other people. As far as I can tell, it seems to be mostly like friendly local game stores that are having these watch parties. So I don't know how that's going to be blunt. I don't know how much fun it's going to be to go to a friendly local game store and watch TV. I guess it depends on the size of the friendly local game store, but should be kind of interesting. However, I'm agoraphobic. I can't do that. But I thought it might be fun to have something themed around the start of Campaign 4. And I thought it might be fun if we made a bingo card for Campaign 4. This will just be, something that, if you're watching, you can do it. There will be no prizes for winning or anything like that. But feel free if you want to on Friday, I guess, after you officially watch it, feel free to come back to this video and just comment how quickly you got your bingo, like just what the timestamp on the video was when you got your bingo. Because, yeah, I think this could be fun. But again, you will win nothing. I have nothing to give you. I have nothing just in general. That's my life is nothing. But I do think it'd be kind of fun to do it. So I went on Google and searched for create your own bingo card, and I found this. This is Bingo Baker. And it is significantly more complicated than anything I really needed it for. And I'm certain there are better ways to make your own bingo card. But the thing I like about this is we can make the bingo, and then I can put a URL in the description of this, and you can click on that to generate your own bingo card to play on Thursday or whenever you watch the premiere. Theoretically, you can also search for Critical Role Bingo for Campaign 4 premiere. But I'm not creating an account for this website for using it once. So, finding it, I don't know how many other people have decided that they're going to do this. I did do a test bingo card that exists that is named slightly different. So I don't know how much fun it would be to try and find that, but like I said, I think this will be fun. So let's start doing some stuff that we think is likely might happen for the premiere episode. So the first thing that I think all of us, and I guess we should clarify, to make things as simple as possible, this will involve anything from after the actual Critical Role broadcast starts. So this includes like whatever sponsors or anything that Sam does, or any merchandise that Laura talks about, or anything like that. That's all going to be included. If any of these things happen while that's going on, this is not going to be exclusively just when they're playing the game. So with that being said, let's start making stuff. So you with this thing, you can get real fancy and put like pictures and stuff. I'm not. I'm just going to type phrases and see if they work. So the first thing, and this is just me being arrogant, is correct class prediction. Correct class prediction. I predicted what the classes of all the characters were going to be. I don't believe they've officially announced any of the character classes. They have just shown us artwork of all of them. So, if I was correct in any of the classes, I could fill in that square. Now, at the exact same time, if you guys made your own predictions, you can use this slot as your own prediction, or you can go off of my predictions if you want. But yeah, I figure that'll definitely be something. And then also incorrect. I think there's a double R in there. Is that what it is? Yeah, incorrect class prediction. All right, so I cannot type right now. Prediction, there we go. So we have correct class prediction, incorrect class prediction. So whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I can get at least one square. And I think there's a pretty good chance that I'll be able to get both of them. But you won't be able to mark any of these until a class is officially announced. So, yeah. The next thing that, like, always happens, Sam sings. If anyone doesn't know, Sam Ringgold's a very, very talented vocalist, very, very talented songwriter as well. He sings a lot. I think it would not be outside the realm of reason that Sam would sing in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I think Sam sings, definitely something in there. Another thing, if you are familiar with Brennan Lee Mulligan, this will make sense. It's kind of a running joke on Dropout that Brennan has a just kind of encyclopedic knowledge of birds in general. And so it's been made fun of by Sam Wright quite a few times. There was even an episode of the game show that I can't remember what it's called right now. Game Changers, is that what it is? Something like that. Anyway, where an entire round was dedicated to bird facts, and the bird facts that he gave everyone else were super easy and simple, and the stuff that he gave Brennan were so insanely obscure and bizarre that Brennan had no chance of winning anything. And so Brennan lost in a bird fact competition, and it was hilarious. So, and then obviously we have to have a nat 20 space, and then a nat 1 space. We know we're going to get something like that. We're going to get at least one crit and one crit fail. Something that I think, I don't know if it'll happen in the first episode, but I think it'd be fun to have a bingo spot for it, is your breaking math. So this is actually a quote from Campaign 1. In Campaign 1, there was a period where they split the party into two different groups, and so they had guests for both groups. One group of guests included Will Friedle, Mary, and Will Wheaton. And if anyone is familiar with Will Wheaton in general, he has like an eldritch ability to make things go poorly for himself when dice are involved. And so as he continued to roll nat 1 after nat 1 after nat 1 after nat 1, everyone started kind of freaking out about it. And Will Friedle, in commenting about it, he goes, "You're breaking math. That's what's so scary. Like, statistically, you can't be rolling this many natural ones. It's just not possible." So your breaking math is basically somebody in the cast either having a string of really good luck or a string of really bad luck. again, because there's no prize, you are more than welcome to decide for yourself where you decide your breaking math applies. I'll give you an example. The first time I played D&D 5th edition, it was not called 5th edition at that point. It was D&D Next. And I played it at Gen Con. So we sat down at the table. I sat down at this table with a bunch of strangers I'd never met before. Found out later, two of the people at the table actually helped make Munchkin. So that was kind of cool. But as we sit down, everybody there had never played D&D Next before. We were all brand spanking new. And so we get to a roll, and I can't even remember what he asked to do, but he said, I want to try and do this. And it was actually, the DM goes, that's actually a good idea. So we're going to use a new mechanic for 5th edition. It's called Advantage. So what I want you to do is I want you to roll 2d20s and take the higher of the two rolls. We're like, ooh, this is a cool mechanic. And so the dude rolled the 2d20s, and he got double nat ones. It was the first roll at the table. I believe it was the first roll at the table, and it was the first roll for all of us in all of 5th edition, and it was a double nat 1. To me, that's kind of breaking math right there. I still have a picture of the roll on my phone. And I look at it every so often just to go, you broke math. So, yes. So feel free to decide whatever you want as far as when something starts breaking math, but I think that's good enough for a space. Let's see. There've been some interviews where they talked about Matt's character and just what a horrible person he is. Slight spoiler alert, I guess. So I think, yeah, really? Let's try this. Okay. So I think having something is like, that's very un-Matt-like, because Matt, I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of interacting with Matthew Mercer. I was lucky enough, I never interacted with him physically. But we did talk back and forth back in the early days of Critical Role, because I had to set up a prank on Felicia Day. And I was communicating with Zach Eubank, who was running the channel at the time. And he said, well, this is Matt's game. I can't really okay that. But you can ask Matt. I'm like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. And so I had a slight back and forth with Matt Mercer that way. And he is a genuinely just really, really kind, caring human being. And so I like the idea of his character just not being that. So what this is going to be is that's very un-Matt, is not just going to be his characters being, but something that genuinely surprises you that Matt is capable of doing even through his D&D avatar, which may or may not happen. He may be the jerk that the interviews have said about him. Or he may be a little bit more mild, but I think for that particular square, if he does something, you're just like, I was not aware that Matt Mercer was capable of doing that. I think that would feel very good. On that same note, I think it would be very, very bizarre if this doesn't happen. But something to the effect of, so with Matt specifically, again, he's been the forever DM for so long. He's gotten to play, I think, a couple times on the channel, but never in a campaign. It's always been, in a mini campaign or, a one-shot or something like that. And the vast majority of the time, he's in the DM chair. So I guarantee either Matt is going to say, I'm not the DM anymore, I've got to do it, or someone else is going to reference that, oh, you're not the DM anymore, so you can get away with this, or something like that. I definitely think that that's going to be something. So I think that would be something appropriate. Since we're naming things with specific characters, we probably should put Laura, Bobora, Banana Fana, Fofora, me and my Momora, Laura, has a slight, very minor obsession with dice. She has tons and tons of tons in them, and she still believes that she does not have enough. So, something happening with Laura's incredibly large amount of dice. Whether it's her going, oh, which one am I going to use this time? Or her bringing out an entire separate set to be able to do this. Or just somebody commenting on, which of your 7,000 D20s is that, Laura? Just something invoking Laura's dice, I think, would definitely be something that might happen in this game. This is fun. Let's keep going. So, other things. So Alex Ward, as I've mentioned before, he's an actor that kind of specializes in more monstrous characters. I can't remember the actual character he's playing in this. I'm gonna real quick just go to Critical Role Campaign 4 characters. I'm gonna see if I can't look at the characters real quick to remember what his character is. Okay, so Alex Ward is playing Oh yeah, he's playing the Alchemist with, or at least that's my prediction, playing the Alchemist with the two kind of pet things. So, again, he tends to play kind of more monstrous characters. So, and basically what that is referring to is because he plays them so exceptionally well. And I will mention right now, when I was looking at the Campaign 4 characters, they do have a couple ones that they put classes next to. So if you're trying to avoid finding out what the classes are until you actually watch it, maybe avoid that play page on the Campaign 4 thing. But yeah, I think whether he tries to imitate his little animals or something, just anything non-human that kind of comes out, I think would be kind of funny. So I don't want that because it's giving away Campaign 4 cast. Let me see if we can find somewhere without the classes talked about. Okay, so going to come up with other things. I mean, we have to. I mean, if we're doing player specific things. So, you spelled immortality wrong? There we go, immortality. So another kind of inside joke is the idea that Taliesin has existed forever. He's either a vampire or some sort of eldritch being or something, and he has existed since the before times. Not the before times of like 2019, but the before times of like prehistory. So there's always, jokes about, yeah, Taliesin, what was the Spanish Inquisition like? Or, yeah, Taliesin, was like fire a really big thing when it was first introduced, or were like people on the fence about it? So I think little cracks like that generally tend to show up. They don't show up in every single episode, but this being the first one, I think we might have something like that. I'm trying to think of other people that are predictive enough that I could come up with something for them. We have to put this here. Now, that is a Matthew Mercer phrase, but it is so common in Critical Role. This is, the idea of you can certainly try, where they have some weird idea that they want to do, and the response from the DM is, you can try, we'll see how it goes. Whether or not Brennan says that line specifically, or someone else at the table says the line, or it's just kind of implied with someone goes, you know what, can I try, taking a key off of this completely coherent guard that is watching me like a hawk? Well, you could certainly try. So I think something like that might make sense. Let's see, what other stuff could we have for a premiere? Oh, and this one is very specific. So someone leaving. This is another thing that happens fairly regularly. Is something will happen, and it will be just so perfect or so just like defining. They're like, that's it. We have peaked. We're done. Thanks everybody for showing up. It was great. We're gone. So anyone that kind of does that, someone leaving or campaign is over, I guess someone leaving, we can put /campaign over. And I think I'm going to go or campaign over so it's easier to read. So someone leaving or campaign over. Basically, something happens. They go, well, thanks everybody. It's a great campaign. Critical Role had a great run. I guess we're all done now. Something to that effect. It happens a lot. It's always funny when it happens. Yeah. I'm trying to stay on the more kind of positive side when I'm making these bingo cards. So I'm not putting anything in there like, oh, someone gets a rule wrong, or, something like that. Well, I mean, this happens at my table all the time. Effectively, something will inspire them or remind them of something else going on, and so they slightly take us out of the immersion for a brief moment just to reference something completely unrelated. Again, happens on Critical Role, happens at my table, happens at every table, to be blunt. So I think that would make something that works. I guess we also we have to have this. We got to have the how do you want to do this. If anyone is unaware for whatever reason, this is actually a phrase that showed up episode 1 of Critical Role, and I was there when it first happened. Again, I'm an old person. I was officially called an OG critter by Liam O'Brien years and years and years ago. But they get into combat in the first episode of Critical Role. And the unique thing about it was, to get off topic, when they started the campaign, Sam effectively asked, what is like the worst race? And somebody said, probably gnomes. And then, what is the worst class? And he said, well, Bard, I guess. And so Sam was playing a gnome Bard, which in Pathfinder, which is basically D&D 3.75, Bards are not like super powerhouse characters. They're support characters. And when you play them well, you generally are not the person that are getting things done. You are setting other people up to get things done. That's not how Bards work in 5th edition. In 5th edition, while yes, they are very good support characters with Bardic Inspiration and a lot of their spells being having the ability to kind of buff or debuff and things like that, they're also full spellcasters. And they started, I think, at level 11. So by the time you're level 11, he had access to quite a few like really useful, really powerful spells, and so Sam actually got the "How do you want to do this?" Which had never happened in the home game because he'd always been kind of a comic relief character and a support character. So what? How do you want to do this? Is basically if you land the killing blow on the boss or the final enemy in the encounter, Matt would turn to you and say, "How do you want to do this?" And what that would mean is he'd be asking you, what epic way do you want this combat to end? And so they would kind of go, oh, I'd like it to go this way. And then Matt narrates the thing and turns it into something cool. Critical Role, actually, I'm going to go here. What I'm going to do really quickly here, just because I can. I'm going to go here, put trademark. So the reason I put that, Critical Role actually has, I think, trademark, because you can't copyright a slogan, but you can trademark it. So I believe they actually have a trademark on how do you want to do this. Just mostly because they print it on shirts and stuff like that, and it makes it easier for them to be able to monetize it. They're not evil or anything, but because of that, in my own games, I used to use "How do you want to do this," and I stopped because I don't like the idea of using something that's actually trademarked or copywritten, and so what I say to give the same effect is claim your kill, describe your victory. But it's the same basic premise, and I think it's a fantastic thing. If you are a dungeon master, a game master, or a director, whatever you call it, a storyteller, when your players get a victory, when they beat combat, there should be some special recognition to the person that gets the killing blow. I think it makes it that much more fun. So whether or not you want to use "How do you want to do this" trademark or something else, I really think it's in everyone's best interest if you do kind of acknowledge, hey, you got the killing blow or you got the final result in this particular thing. You're the person that made them win. Let's make it flashy. Tell me how your specific character did this, and then I'll embellish it to make it sound even cooler. So we got to have a "How do you want to do this?" With that, I want to go here. Nope, there. Okay. So we got to have a "How do you want to do this?" Let's think of what other, I guess, D&D type stuff. I have to put this in here because of the person that I am. I like a good pun. Genuinely, I will spend hours working through exceptionally long, wordy stories just so I can, at the end, have a really solid pun. So, if I'm making one of these, the cast can be kind of punny. They're not quite as dedicated to the pun arts as I am. But if they make a pun, I think we should get a space for that. So, let's have a puns space. I think we have to have this too. So, I think in every campaign, there's been at least one character that has kind of that Casanova feel to it, where they flirt with people. Sam flirted with anything that moved. In campaign 2, Jester was a little bit kind of flirty, and then there was also kind of the flirting between Bo and Yasha. And campaign 3, I just didn't watch enough to know who was the big flirter in that. But they've got 13 characters. We know there's gonna be some flirting in there. So I think actually, separating them into both inter-party and extra-party flirting. Basically, inter-party means one of the players' characters is flirting with one of the other player characters' characters. Yeah. And then extra party is one of the player characters is just flirting with something. I think both of those are things that might happen and could be fun. So yeah, gots to have some flirt, and that's a very normal thing in D&D. They've got to have the flirts. Again, if you remember the like pillars of a good campaign, one of them was hearts or sex or something like that. So we know that there's going to be some romance in there. So yeah, having two different spaces for the style of flirting, I don't think is that strange the thing. So yeah, let's think. We only need 5 more. So let's think of some other either critical role stuff or we got to do this. Brennan Lee Mulligan is a very interesting person just in general. He's a very creative person, but he's also a lover of the classics. So the idea of the party meeting in a tavern, like that's the big joke in like D&D in general, is like, oh yeah, everybody meets in a tavern. And I remember specifically for campaign 2, that is how the campaign started, was in a tavern. And I made an entire video talking about how it was such a great masterclass of kind of an intro adventure because it introduced all the characters in a really easy to understand way, and it gave them a reason to work together. And that's one of the reasons why taverns are so popular in D&D, because the tavern is basically the meeting point, the social piece of most towns. And so it makes sense not only for all the players to wind up there eventually, but also for them to get work there, which generally tends to be how a lot of parties start their adventures. They get hired to do something. So I think something involving a tavern in the first episode, I think would make sense. So, yeah, we got to have a tavern in there. Let's see what else. We got 4 more people. We do have, if I remember correctly, we have two different characters that have companions. We have Alex's character, which looks a little bit more like wow, brain just completely fried. Alex's character looks a little bit more like familiars than anything else. And then we have, was it Robbie's character? One of them is like blatantly, obviously a ranger with a companion. And so, what was, oh damn, I'm trying to think. What was his character? Or his character's cat. It was Caleb, I know that. Description. What was his name? His cat. So, Caleb, critical role, cat. What was his cat's name? Frumpkin. There we go. So let's have Trinket or Frumpkin reference. So somebody comparing one of these pets to either Trinket or Frumpkin, because for a long time, like, there were lots of Trinket references. I don't know if Campaign 3 made a lot of Frumpkin references. But I think it's very, very possible that we will get some kind of reference as far as that is concerned. So, 3 more slots. What else might be going on? Well, Well, I mean, this is something that's going to happen. So this is almost a free space, but there are 13 players. There's going to be a period where everything just turns into absolute chaos. And there is lots of history on Critical Role of chaos being kind of the norm for them. So I think the idea of chaos being one of the spaces makes perfect sense. So still need two more. What else do we want? Trying to think of other. We gotta have. The real final boss of any TTRPG campaign is doors. They're door. I have two different videos on this channel from forever ago, called The Doors of Exandria or something like that, where I literally just did a little skit of doors that Vox Machina had dealt with, talking to each other about the many failures of doors against doors that they had. So they even make a joke of it in The Legend of Vox Machina. There's a scene where they just, because it was in the actual show as well, they just couldn't get through this door, and no matter what they did, they ended up like hurting themselves trying to get through this door. It was hilarious. So we gotta have something about doors. All right, one final square. What is the other thing? I think this makes sense. That doesn't make sense at all. How about? So let me explain what awe is. Is just something happening that either makes the cast go aw, or the audience goes aw, something cute or heartwarming or something like that. It happens fairly regularly in in Critical Role, just in general. Like Trinket would make biscuits, or Frumpkin would be a cat. Just something adorable or heartwarming, something like that. I think that could definitely happen in the first episode. So, this is our bingo sheet. Now, to make it into actual bingo sheet, we're going to go down. It's going to be public. I'm going to click the generate button. All right, so if you would like to play, I have this link right here. I'm going to copy it to my clipboard, and I'm going to post it in the description of this video. Feel free to. I might as well click on it now just so I have it copied. There we go. I have it copied. Yeah. So I'm going to post that in the description of this video. If you want to see kind of what it looks like, I might as well go ahead and just go boom. I put that in. And then it'll ask you to generate the card, and then you'll have the bingo thing. Works perfectly well. So and you guys can all see my Google search history, which includes searching for the Brewers, because the Brewers, at least the last time I checked, had the number one win record in Major League Baseball, and they're the number one seed for, I think, their National League. It's been so long since I followed the Brewers. But if anyone doesn't know, Brewers are the Milwaukee baseball team. So yeah. Anyway, let's go back here. Yeah, that's it's gonna be all for me today. As always, interested to hear from you guys. Did you guys enjoy this? Is anyone in the comments below? Is anyone going to use the bingo card, or do you think this is a waste of time. I don't know. I've seen streamers do bingo cards before, and I've always thought it was fun. So I figured it might be fun. Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, it's all for me today. We'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.